Welcome everybody to a special live feed of the car show from here in London. It is November the 1st and it is of course our big London sale, our annual sale at the Peninsula Hotel. Right now I'm in the courtyard of the Peninsula and we've got quite a number of cars scattered around. Some beautiful, because we're the partner of the London to Brighton Veteran Car Run, which is happening tomorrow, it's really nice that we've got some really good early cars. We've got a few cars that are eligible for the London to Brighton. In fact, they have an entry, so you could buy the car today, take it to Hyde Park tomorrow morning and do the London to Brighton in a car that you bought at our auction, which is very exciting. We've got some of the cars here, obviously selling coffee as well, which is always popular. Porsche, Ferrari, beautiful Bentley saloon over here. And what we're going to do now is we've got a underground car park, a bit like a sort of, you know, a wonderful Bond layer, which is where the majority of the auction cars are on show for the preview. And let's go down and take a look. Come with me. So here we are in the underground car park, deep below the Peninsula Hotel, and this is where most of the cars are on display. Obviously it's still preview, so there's quite a lot of people milling around. Where should we start? BMW M1. Gotta love that. If we keep on walking, beautiful old 1920s Ballo. Some of the early cars are on display down here. Cars at 1904, Clement Bayard, and that's a car that you could do the London to Brighton in. Testarossa. Oh, Jonny, I don't know whether. Honestly, I don't know. Look, more veteran car run. Look at this line of early cars. Absolutely fantastic. And what's really nice is that historically, as an auction house, we haven't really dealt with a lot of these cars over the years, but we're doing far more of it now, and it's a really nice touch because of the partnership with the London to Brighton. Great racing Capri here. If you fancy doing Goodwood members meeting, that's the car to do it in. Excuse me, sorry, so many people. Rally Spec 911. You want to go camping with the family? Get all your gear on that. Get the tent on the roof rack. Little Mini Moke. One of the cheaper cars in the sale, about £30,000. Really, really fun cars. No roof. If you've got a house by the sea or a villa in the south of France, that's the car to have. Keep walking this way. Early tricycle, look at that. Another London to Brighton eligible vehicle. If you fancy doing 60 odd miles from Hyde Park to Brighton seafront and you want to go down that, and it's even got a trailer so you can take a passenger and trailer them behind you. Iso Griffo, beautiful car. AC Cobra, E-Type Jaguar, beautiful Rolls Royce.
Talk about the wood and that other one.
Type 44 Bugatti. Look at this. Look at the angle of that windscreen, Jonny. Can you show that? That is a very, very rakish sort of classic Art Deco style pre-war car. R-Type Continental Bentley. Beautiful thing. Quite a few more pre-war cars here. Bentley, Rolls, all sorts of stuff. So there is literally something for everybody in this sale. We have got everything from a Mini Moke through to a Ferrari FXXK and of course a Aston Martin Valkyrie. So we've got veteran cars from the turn of the 20th century, late 19th century actually, right the way through to, through the Mini Moke, through sports cars, touring cars, right the way up to more modern supercars and the latest hypercars. So whatever your budget, there is something in this sale for you. And it's very exciting. So I am now going to head to the Peninsula Ballroom. There's more cars in there actually, and I'm about to sit down with car specialists Will Smith and Felix Archer, and we're going to have a little bit of a chit chat about this amazing sale and some of the cars. So I will see you there. In the meantime, roll titles. So, I've made it from the car park and now I'm in the ballroom, and here is the aforementioned pair of car specialists, Will Smith, Felix Archer. Gents, thank you very much for finding the time in your busy schedule to come.
Thank you for having
me. Come and sit on this beautiful platform.
Yep, exactly.
Surrounded by some very nice cars. And so, Peninsula, second year running.
Yeah.
Nice to be back.
I love it. It's a fantastic venue. All of our clients say the same thing. They want to be here. They want to bring their girlfriends, their wives. They want to see the cars that we're offering. And being in central London, I mean, the London to Brighton takes place tomorrow morning from literally across the street. We couldn't be better located. It's a great hotel, an incredible building, and a great place to showcase.
And it was lovely that you brought your girlfriend and your wife.
Thanks, Peter. Not going to get me in trouble.
It's a real, but
it's lucky my wife doesn't watch these podcasts.
But the hotel has very much got a car theme, and it's been a place of gathering for many clients, but also just motoring enthusiasts in the Brooklands bar, and the detail that Sir Michael Kadori has gone into in the build of this is extraordinary, and he's been very generous in providing this space for us to host this auction. It's amazing. So it's great to be back for a second year, because last year was phenomenal. So hopefully we can capitalise on that this year.
Yeah, and of course, since 2020, we've been the title sponsors of the London to Brighton Veteran Car Run. And of course, all of that, there's lots and lots of stuff going on today. So down in Pall Mall, they've closed the road, and there's a wonderful display of cars from veterans right the way through to hypercars and stuff. So anybody watching this now, if you happen to be in London, you need to get yourself down to Pall Mall to have a look at what's going on down there before you come to our auction. You can come to our auction because the auction starts at 4 o'clock. And it's that partnership we love, don't we? I mean, and I think the thing is with the London to Brighton, we're talking about very old cars, pre-1904 cars. So most people find that type of car a little bit hard to identify with, because a lot of them are more akin to horseless carriages than they are what we think of as a car. But the three of us, we've all done the London to Brighton.
Yeah.
That isn't an incredible experience doing that run.
Hands down, one of the best car experiences that I've ever had in any car. And it's not really about the car, being in the car when you're in it. It's more about the atmosphere along the way, and the amount of people. It took like hundreds of thousands of people just waving to you along the way. And there is this sense that these cars are so old and wonderfully preserved that everyone is just willing them on to get to Brighton. And inevitably, of course, there are some that break down along the way, but that is kind of part of the spirit of the event. And people stop, people
if
help.
You haven't broken down on the way, you've not experienced the run, have you?
Absolutely. No. But there's nothing else like it in the entire world. I can't think of another event like
I think it's like a distillation of everything the world we're in should be in terms of the car enthusiasm, because it's more often than not really cold. It rains all the time, and it's not an easy drive. Some cars are really quick, some cars are really slow. not everyone has an easy time with reliability, but everyone just maintains this incredible level of enthusiasm, and it's so palpable and it's amazing. There's no ego or anything like that. There's no sort of hierarchy about the value of your car. It's just everyone is in this event together. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and as I said in my little preamble down in the garage, is that as an auction house, certainly in Europe, not so much in North America, where we have the Hershey sale, which is a lot of what they call brass era cars.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the origins of our European business, which sort of goes back to 2006-07, in the years since then, we've not really offered a lot of veteran cars, have we? And we've been more focused on post-war in particular. But since forming the partnership with the Royal Automobile Club and being involved in the run, that's naturally fed our reputation as an auction house that is very much involved in that part of the hobby. So it is lovely now, and of course we have certain esteemed colleagues like Malcolm Barber who are very entrenched in the veteran car world.
Yes.
Malcolm has been so busy consigning some really lovely veterans for this sale, and I think I think I'm right in saying that 4 of them have an entry to do the run.
Yeah, so
tomorrow.
buy it literally tonight and do the run the next morning. It couldn't be better than that. And
you've got to be quite brave, haven't you?
Yeah,
drive it from the car park here to Hyde Park, and then
hope for the best.
Yeah, hope for the best. But it is a fantastic association, and it's a market, as you say, that we weren't that familiar with before. But what's been very, very evident is that the veteran pre-1904 market is in a world of its own. It's a completely niche micro market, which is extremely buoyant. And obviously it's because of the London to Brighton and many of the other events that you can do in those cars. But it is really noticeable how when we offer them, we nearly sell every single car. and there is just multiple bidders on every single one. Because I had a client last year who came down to this auction. I said to him, whatever you do, tomorrow morning, get up early and go and watch the start of the London to Brighton. It starts at 6:30 or something like that. He went down there, he came back, he called me and said, find me a London to Brighton veteran car. And he's bought 2 this year, and he's doing the run this year for the first time with his whole family. And that just, for me, shows you how infectious this community is of veteran cars. And once people see it and experience it for the first time, just standing there in Hyde Park watching them start up, it is such an evocative experience that you can't help but be instantly addicted to it and be fascinated by the different shapes and the sizes and the engineering and the steam cars, electric cars, and it's just an amazing little market that we found ourselves in.
And the interesting thing is which I think is really nice, some of those veterans, the sort of perhaps the smaller single-cylinder engine cars. Comparatively speaking, they're really good value for money, aren't they? I mean, I know it's not a car you can't do hundreds of miles in a veteran, but as you say, the reason why people buy run-eligible cars is, I mean, it's your entry ticket, and you can own one of those cars, for less money than it would cost to buy a second-hand Range Rover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's they're a good proposition. They're very simple. I know they do break down a bit, and they're parts of them are sort of fairly delicate, but they're so simple.
Yes.
I mean, really easy to work on.
They are, and what is very noticeable is seeing lots of young people on the run, and a lot of people say, pre-war cars, they're just for old men, and it's, they're all dying away, and it's an industry that's shrinking. But actually, we see a lot of elderly collectors who are winding down their collections, selling down their collections, but some of the last cars that the family want to sell are actually the veterans, because it means the younger generation can pick them up and can do the run in them, and I think that's really healthy for the market.
Yeah. And we've got, I mean, in my notes for this podcast, and apologies viewers, because I do need notes, because, my memory is not what it was. One of the more higher end in value terms cars that we've got is 1904 Talbot.
Yes.
Got to pronounce the T on the end.
Indeed.
It's not a Talbot. A 1216 horsepower Brougham. That is a beautiful car, isn't it? Estimate 300 to 350. But there it is now. I was looking at it, and it's so beautifully made.
If you want refinement and a closed cabin, shall we say, and a bit of comfort, that is the car to do the running.
Well, having done, as we all have, done the run in a car with no roof and no windscreen,
That's deluxe.
There's a lot to be said, isn't there, for climbing
right.
into that. You've got your passengers sit in the back. They've got, a bottle of champagne. They've got a hamper and some caviar.
Very civilised.
It's a very civilised way of getting down to Brighton.
4 cylinders as well.
4 cylinders, so it's going to motor along really well.
Yeah.
And of course, I did a podcast with Jeremy Vaughan of the Royal Automobile Club yesterday, in fact, and he was we were saying the time span. So London to Brighton is 60 odd miles.
Yeah.
Some of those cars, they're going to leave Hyde Park at 7 o'clock in the morning. They're going to be in Brighton by 11 o'clock in the morning. And the 4-cylinder, a 4-cylinder veteran can motor along in modern traffic at the same speed as a C-Class Mercedes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're really good.
So you find people with those sorts of cars tend to stop off along the way and might go to the pub or and just sort of immerse themselves in the crowds. And the closer you get to Brighton, you realise how many villages come out, and it's a huge party atmosphere. It's fantastic.
It is.
Actually, one of the things I regret on doing the run is that we didn't stop more. And just soak up the atmosphere, watch some of the cars come past, because it's not really about getting there first. If you get there first, you lose, I think, because you're just standing around waiting.
Well, it did once take me 8 hours.
Okay.
To get down there.
Yeah. It's a balance. You've got to be in the middle of that. You've got to be in the middle of that.
I could have probably driven to Dijon, France, by now, in a family hatchback. Right. So moving on.
Fabulous car, that.
Lots of lovely veterans. If you're watching live and you want to go and have a look online, go onto the RM Sotheby's website. You can see all of the cars listed. We're sitting on a stage at the moment. F40, Ferrari, FXXK. We've got a Valkyrie, and at the end there, we've got a Lamborghini Miura. And we've got a really nice Lamborghini lineage in this sale, haven't we? As we all know, the Miura was Lamborghini's first mid-engine supercar, one of the first mid-engine supercars of all time. Lamborghini were doing it before Ferrari were doing it.
Yes.
Is it the most beautiful car in the world? Very subjective.
It is, but when I was a kid, I remember seeing a picture of a lime green P400 with the eyelashes on a car magazine, old mag that my dad had lying around the house, and I just couldn't believe a car could be that low and that purposeful and shapely, and it's like even now it looks like something that's landed out of space and is just sort of a completely alien product in the best possible way, and that continued a theme that Lamborghini continues, I think, to this day, which is to wow and excite its audience with the cars that it makes. And I'd say it started with the Miura.
We've been really lucky to have been entrusted with some great Miuras, from P400 to SV to in various states, from barn find to complete restoration, Pebble Beach, etc. But actually, I was thinking about this earlier. They've always been one or two colours, but actually they've always been red or yellow.
Yeah.
But this is really cool because I think they did 37 P400s in this colour, blue Miura, and it's stunning. It's really beautiful. It gives a completely different sort of interpretation of the shape.
Well, it's like with Ferraris. When you're so conditioned to seeing red Ferraris that when you see one in a really unusual colour, the experience is a completely different thing, and it's true with that, isn't it?
And it's it's gone through a serious restoration, that car, in Italy, and it just presents beautifully. So it's Yeah.
So the estimate's 1.2 to 1.4 million pounds. That's not pocket change, but they are, as you say, they're rare cars. They're beautiful cars. It's one of those kind of cornerstone blue chip cars, like a Gullwing. And there are a few cars which are a kind of a touch point for a collection, aren't they?
Yeah,
and a Miura is one of those.
Yeah, 100%. But as you were saying earlier about the theme of Lamborghinis, but in this job, we don't always know what we're going to get into an auction a few months before it, right? You're only as good as what you can find, and it just so happens that we have found this incredible selection of Lamborghinis, and it's really, really interesting to see the lineage, right? The Diablo is almost grandson. To the Miura.
And look, we just saw the Countach on the screen there. So the very early iteration of the Countach, that is the car that replaced the Miura, right?
Yes.
And totally different looking car.
Yeah.
Like a spaceship.
Yeah.
They still. The Countach is a car which you can't necessarily describe as beautiful, but was there a car before it, or really since, that makes you stop in your tracks and go, that isn't a car, that is a spaceship.
Yeah.
That is from science fiction.
Yeah.
That car, and they still have. It's an old car now, but they still have that effect, don't they?
They do, and as you say, as a statement, as a piece of art to look at, they are incredible. And that particular car that you're looking at there is a UK delivered, Portland delivered Countach 5000 QV, which is considered by many to be one of the better driving Countaches, because obviously over the years of development through the LP400 series, Periscopico, and then through to the later LP400Ss, they then moved to the 5000 QV, and it was just the performance, everything came together, the big wing. And then they moved afterwards to the 25th anniversary, which sort of lost some of the kind of drama, shall we say, of the Countach series, of those 5000 QVs. So big wing, that's actually called an 88.5 because it's got these little 25th anniversary type side skirts on it. So it's moving towards the anniversary, but it's a very nice example in Acapulco blue with blue interior.
Going loco.
Absolutely.
And so we talk about poster cars. I was in the late 80s, I was in my late teens, and Athena, the poster business, did it's a well-known poster actually of a black 5000 QV, and I had one of those on my bedroom wall.
Did you?
Yeah. I didn't have a Ferrari. I had one of those, and I always remember things from your younger life. My parents lived in a village, and on the edge of the village, some old barns were converted into beautiful houses, and a single guy moved into one of these barns, and it turns out he was a record producer, and he had a brand new black Countach.
No way.
And when I'd see it trundle through the village, and just couldn't take my
all
eyes
over.
off it. Yeah,
With excitement.
yeah. I fell off my trike.
But that's what they do, right? They kind of make little grown men giddy, and sort of takes them back to those childhood memories of seeing a car like that for the first time, and the emotive connection that you have to it suddenly becomes real. It's not just a poster on your wall anymore. It's actually a physical thing that's driving past you, or a physical thing that you're seeing in an auction room. And yeah, I mean, we get quite obviously blasé about the cars that we get to sell, are lucky enough to sell, because we see them in these auction rooms quite often. And however, when you see something like a Countach on the road, in the wild, it still blows my mind, when you see these things out there being driven. And it's a very, very special sight.
And like few other cars, I think that's the point with the Countach. If you are out in the wild and one passes you, even if you go and stand in Piccadilly, there's all manner of supercars in this part of London. But if one of those drives past, you're still going to stop and take a second look.
100%.
And then, of course, to kind of the next point in that Lamborghini lineage is the Diablo. And we have not one, but two in this auction. And they're interesting cars, Diablos, because they were. I mean, when I was a motoring journalist in the 90s, it was still a brand new car, and then sort of, they passed into a period where they weren't regarded in quite the same way as the Countach and certainly the Miura, and values for a long time weren't that punchy. But that's been changing in the last few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. We've seen them probably double in the last 5 years.
Easily. But I think that's the generational thing as well. And as you say, they went through that. Every car kind of has its natural bottoming out. And then the generation that, had those on their bedroom wall in the late 90s are going, oh my God, they seem like good value. And it's pushed everything up. And rightly so. I mean, it looks awesome. It's weirdly understated, that car, for something that is fundamentally mad.
In that colour.
It's really, I really like it.
I
sort of don't like, I don't like the ones that are in bombastic colours because it's already a bombastic shape.
Yeah.
But in that sort of metallic green, it's lovely. It's really cool.
It's Olympus green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just referring to my notes.
And we haven't had confirmation of this, so we can't state it in
But you're going to state it anyway.
particulars. But I'm going to say it anyway, that it is rumoured, and I'll heavily point that out, that it is rumoured.
It's possibly
that car was owned by Keith Flint of The Prodigy.
Oh.
The lead singer of Prodigy. And
the OG Firestarter.
there were a few figures in the 90s that had Diablo. JK famously had one that the window smashed on the video for Cosmic Girl. And he just drove it without the windscreen and carried on filming. And he was one of those figures that had a Diablo, and Keith Flint from The Prodigy had one. So it was a very sort of rock star 90s moment car.
Oh, and Rod Stewart had one.
Yeah. I mean,
what Lamborghini hasn't Rod Stewart had?
He had a couple of Miuras. He's had all sorts of Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
But yeah, really cool and very cool specification.
So we've got the SV, estimate 375 to 425. Great colour. Do we know how many were made in that colour?
2. Right-hand drive, I believe. The Lamborghini records are not the best. They're sort of handwritten in pencil. But I believe there were 2 in that colour delivered to.
And is there obvious marks where somebody's used an eraser and then rewritten something in?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Great. Okay. No, we've done that. Sorry, I'm just getting myself together. We've done the Countach. So now let's go back pre-war. So we've talked about veterans. We went to the Lamborghinis, so we went very decidedly post-war. But the other notable thing about this, I don't think we've ever had a sale that has done quite as good a job of spanning the decades of motoring history.
I totally agree with you.
I think we talk about it quite a lot in terms of other sales, and you might have one veteran, but this is like, we've got great veterans, we've got great pre-war cars, and we've got we've got great modern hypercars. We've got everything. 2 pre-war cars in particular. We've got 2 Alfa Romeos. They're on your screens now. Let's deal with them one at a time. We've got this touring-bodied 1750,
which is stunning.
So this is a straight 6 engine. I mean, Alfa Romeo pre-war, the 2 sort of great DNA components of their pre-war period was a fantastic 6-cylinder engine and a fantastic 8-cylinder engine.
Yeah.
And we've got one of each. And 1750 6C, that is an amazing looking car, isn't it?
As good as it gets for me in terms of pre-war. If you could go and do a rally, that would be my choice to do it in.
So nicely proportioned.
The proportions are exceptional. And a lot of 1750 examples of the 6C, people say that the Zagato-bodied car is the one to have. But actually, I think the Touring is even prettier and just so understated. And I love everything about it. And anyone who's driven one can attest that they do not drive like other heavy cumbersome pre-war cars. That is a proper sports car.
And it's quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's properly quick.
Yeah.
Even if you're used to driving sort of, modern performance cars, that is still going to feel pokey.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course the lineage of the 1756. I mean, that's got such a rich competition legacy.
Yeah.
It is absolutely one of the great pre-war cars. Not just one of the great Alfa Romeos.
Yeah.
It's one of the great period cars. Only 30 made. With that body. We've got an estimate of 800 to 1.2. I'm a bit hesitant to say I think that's good value. I mean, again,
everything's in context.
Everything's in context. Buy you a very nice house in most parts of the UK. But for what that car is, I think, it's relatively good value.
Yes, and it's got interest for a really good reason, because you don't find those coming up very often.
No.
And that's got like known history, known provenance from new, and
you can do everything in it. You do the Mille Miglia, Targa Florio.
Yeah, and touring, of course, of Milano, who they famously bodied the DB Astons, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, but obviously they were pretty skilled in the pre-war era as well, because I think that is one hell of a great-looking car.
It is,
and it's an honour to have those sorts of Alfa Romeos.
It is, and as well as the 7. So we've actually kind of got the perfect Alfa Romeo pairing, because we've also got an 8C, a 2.9 8C, which my late father was absolutely my late father's dream car. And I remember the excitement with which he went out to buy Simon Moore's book on the 2.9. Again, the thing about the 2.9 is that engine, that is a Grand Prix car engine. That was an engine victorious in pre-war Grand Prix. So that it makes
the F50.
It is
30s, or the Project One.
I mean, that is a bona fide 1930s hypercar.
Yeah, for sure. Twin supercharged, capable of easily 120 miles an hour, probably a bit more.
What you have to remind yourself of is that you've got if you go back to 1937, if you'd gone out onto the streets of London, most people were driving Austin 7s and Morrises, or if they were better off, they might have a 3098 Vauxhall or something.
That could do 40 miles an hour.
Yeah,
right.
This was, literally a rocket ship.
Yeah.
In the context of the period, and beautiful bodywork, and just an absolutely stunning car. Do everything with it. That's a car that's going to be welcomed at every event all over. So I think both those Alphas are a really, good way to highlight the pre-war offering that we've got in this sale, and we've got an awful lot more besides. Yeah. Let me flip over my paperwork, because let's talk about another great car. Early post-war, but from the other great Italian mark of that era. I think you can sort of confidently say Maserati was quite a different mark in that era than it's become in more recent decades. Yeah. A6 GCS, that's another terrific looking car.
Incredible.
And it's a great entry to so many events. I mean, it's 5-time Mille Miglia entrant, and it's so beautiful, and it's rightly got decent interest, because it's a ticket to so many great events. Yeah,
and you punch, again, in the terms of relativity, it's guided at
1.25 to 1.45. Yeah.
So the events that you can do, the cars that you can race against in that car, some of them are 10 times the value at Le Mans Classic and events like that, at La Mille Miglia. But that little thing is so light, so responsive, I was chatting to Augustin, our colleague, who is Mr. Ferrari, right, and adores Ferraris. But he's actually driven that car on the Mille Miglia and said it drives better than any of those cars of that era because it's so delicate, so well poised. The engine just revs so cleanly. And I guess it's because it's very thin aluminium wrapped around a tubular chassis, which for its time was incredibly advanced and quite dangerous, you would say. But as a result of that, you've got this incredible, responsive little car, which not only handles beautifully, but has this beautiful 6-cylinder engine, which again was very much race-proven, had fantastic race success in the period, and today is about as exotic as it gets, I think.
Well, that is, if you like, the Italian equivalent of a D-Type Jaguar.
Yeah.
And nobody will deny that a D-Type is an absolutely beautiful car and a triumph of street, aerodynamic design and all the rest of it. But I mean, if you park that next to a D, the D is going to look quite overweight and quite lumpy looking and heavy. Both 6-cylinder sports racing cars, just with two slightly different approaches. And of course, I mean, the thing is with a D, obviously, these days, with that engine, you can extract. There's so much you can do to them. You can extract so much power, and engines like the Maseratis haven't been developed in the way that So they're probably unlikely to be able to compete with each other on a level playing field. But that doesn't matter. It's missing the point.
Yeah, and if you've got a tight, twisty circuit or road section, I think that Maserati would really, really be quite competitive against something like that. Because it's not just reliant on grunt and straight line ability. It's just a really well poised, beautifully balanced handling car.
Yeah. So lovely, lovely car from the 1950s. Now, here's an interesting car to just spin into the conversation. Mercedes, Felix, I know that you like a Mercedes 190 E.
He does.
You would like.
I'd like one.
You would like one in what we call hearing aid beige.
Yes.
Similar colour to this little microphone.
Yep.
Probably with what, cloth upholstery?
Yes.
What colour upholstery would you go for with the beige?
Beige.
Beige on beige.
Light tan.
Light tan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you've been talking about buying this probably for about the last 5 years. You haven't made the leap yet.
No, I saw, the best one I ever saw was in the Mercedes Museum, and I've been chasing that quality ever since, and I haven't found it.
You can't find it in Peckham.
No, I can't find it in Peckham. This, for me, is like, it's my favourite car in the auction because it is the story that makes the car. It's extraordinary. I mean, it's rightly got lots of interest, and we haven't guided it in line with what a standard 2.3 is worth, which is a tenth of the estimate.
It would be quite a punchy estimate. It would be for something in Auto Trader.
Yeah.
In Peckham.
But it's just the story of the fact that he was in his first year of Formula One driving for Tolman. He kind of hadn't really done anything. I mean, he was obviously super talented.
So we haven't said who we're talking about yet.
Senna.
Right, yeah, there you go.
Ayrton Senna.
Senna's Mercedes.
Yeah, I believe they were reopening the Nürburgring. They're opening the Grand Prix circuit, if I remember correctly. And they did the Race of Champions. They invited all the great drivers of the present at the time and of the past. So Sterling Moss did it, and
Lauda
did it, Hunt did it, Denny Hulme did it, and then it was 20 drivers. And this kid, Ayrton Senna, they're all in matching Mercedes 190 2.3s. And this kid called Senna just decimated everyone, just completely smashed it, and won by a reasonable distance from Lauda. That Senna car is with Mercedes. We actually sold the Lauda car a couple of years ago. But off the back of that victory, Senna went to Mercedes saying, love the car, can I buy one? And that's this car. And he drove it all the time. And we even spoke to, in the process of this auction, we spoke to his best friend at the time and the person that he lived with. And he said, I remember the car, we used to smoke around, I think it was Norfolk, because they lived near Snetterton, didn't they?
Near Lotus.
Yeah, exactly. and it's amazing that he just loved it.
And it's his name on the original V5.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been owned by the same concerner for a very long time.
Very, very annoying. Wearing my marketing hat, and this has been one of those frustrating cars because we cannot find a picture of Senna with this car.
I'm sure one exists out there.
I'm sure that one must exist, but there isn't one.
Yeah.
There, we looked and we couldn't find one, so there isn't one in the catalogue, and we've not been able to use it on social media. But there's absolutely no question that this is his car, and it's just like, you know. And we were talking last night. We had Manish Pandey here, who wrote the famous Senna movie, because we were unveiling another great Senna car that we're going to be offering, but a McLaren F1 car, and you know, and Manish was, you know, we'd drawn this car to his attention, and you know, and it was just like, well, it's a Senna car. It's you know, if you want to join the big collectors, who all love to go to events and say, "Oh yes, I own an absolute, you know, bona fide Senna car."
Yeah,
this is your way in, right?
100%.
Join the club.
And he picked it up from the factory, apparently. You know, he went to the factory, drove it back from the factory, and even when the other day when I was looking at the car, I opened the bonnet, and you know, the Mercedes of that era, you pull the catch and the little toggle comes flying out of the grille, and I just pulled the toggle and thought to myself, Ayrton Senna has touched this little bit of plastic. And I know it's weird, right? But it's the first thing that came to my mind, and just sent goosebumps down my spine. And then you look at the car, and it's done quite significant mileage, 200,000 miles, something like that. But the condition of it is unbelievable. I put a paint reader to it and couldn't believe that most of the panels were reading within factory paint measurements. And it just defies the build quality of those Mercedes at that time. You can see why Senna bought it, because it's just built like an absolute tank. And to this day, it just sits there. It could probably do another 200,000 miles.
Yeah.
Well, have you registered to bid, Felix? You've been looking for a 190 for a while now.
Yeah, it would be pretty baller if I just dropped my entire net worth and some debt on this. But no, I'd love to. It'd be it's such a cool car.
It is very cool.
Yeah,
it's very cool. So I think that's definitely and it's got a sunroof. I love a sunroof. Yeah. I'm very much a sunroof man.
Yeah.
So we're getting towards the end of this little broadcast, but we're on a platform at the moment, and we've got this incredible FX6K Ferrari next to us. But we've got a trio of track-focused hypercars, haven't we? Which I would say, it's fair to say that in a UK auction, it's quite a unique, you know, first ever FX6 that we've offered in a UK sale.
Yeah.
I'm confident to say. So we've got a P1 GTR.
Yeah.
950 to 1.5. Amazing bit of kit.
Yeah. I mean, of the hypercars of that era, there's that wonderful Chris Harris video where he compared all three of them. Now, they weren't the GTRs or the FXXKs, but they were the road-going versions. But the McLaren P1 really stood out in terms of its technical ability. And I think, all right, the Ferrari here next to us is sensational, but it's 3.7 to 5.2 million pounds. Whereas that P1, on the same track day, if you rocked up in both cars, you'd be pretty close between the two of them, right?
Yeah.
And I think obviously that speaks volumes as to where the market sees that brand versus the other brand, but I think that the P1 is a sensational car and an incredible modern design, incredible performance. But on the track theme itself, we're seeing more and more of them come through the auctions, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I guess that is indicative of a market that the manufacturers are very well aware is growing for that sector of the market. Because let's face it, you can't really get your kicks on the road anymore in a car that can do 250 miles an hour.
No,
it's just not.
It's impossible.
It's absolutely impossible, especially in this country. Some other countries might be able to do it. But what a lot of our wealthy clients are realizing is that actually the track is where you can absolutely test and hone your driving skills in a way that you just can't on the road. And I think that there's a growing market, and you see that through Corsa Cliente and all of these programs that are now being developed through the major manufacturers, of clients going, you know what, I just want to be on the track. I just want to drive track cars. And that's why I think we're seeing more of them pop up in our sales.
So we've got the McLaren, which is the 14th of 58 built. The second FXXK, it's quite a mouthful to get out. The second we've sold in the last 3 weeks, which is very unusual here in Europe. But what an amazing spec that is.
That is an incredible machine. And again, you can take part in Ferrari. I don't think there's any manufacturer that does events like they do with their program, their Clienti program, and the Finale Mondiale is just a mind-blowing event. For those that don't know, it's an event that takes place at the end of the year where all of the lucky owners of the Grand Prix cars, the FXX cars, Challenge cars and Le Mans cars get together for an incredible multi-day celebration. And the FXX lineage it is an amazing scheme and an amazing thing to be part of. And that's why we saw a couple of weeks ago, we sold one very, very well, because it really is one of the ultimate track cars you could buy for, that's derived from a genuine road car.
And that is one of the best looking I've seen.
Yeah.
I think it looks absolutely
stunning.
Mega.
Really good.
Mega. It was quite, did you watch the car, them trying to get it onto this platform yesterday?
No, I wasn't here for that.
Wasn't easy.
I did see it come off the truck, though, in the street, and the crowd that was surrounding it.
Oh, yeah.
The kids were just going wild with their camera phones, getting the content. And, it literally, fired up, and everyone went wild.
Estimate 3.7 to quite a broad estimate, 3.7 to 5.2 million pounds.
Sure.
As you rightly say, Felix, that's a good chunk more expensive than the McLaren. Or did you say that, Will?
I said
yes.
that.
Sorry, Will.
Thanks.
But it's a Ferrari FXX, and they sort of are, legendary in their own way, really.
But if 3.7 to 5.5 is a little out of range, we've got something else, haven't we?
We have. Let me turn my sheet of paper over.
Ticks those boxes.
They're all kind of in the same build numbers, aren't they? Because
there's 60 of those.
60 of those.
58
P1s, GTRs, and then 55 of these.
This. So I'm just going to. I don't happen to have 350,000 pounds to spend on a car, but now we are genuinely talking about good value for money, aren't we? I mean, relative to the two cars that we've just talked about. I know it's a slightly different kettle of fish, but as you say, 41 of 55 produced to celebrate AMG's 55th anniversary. I know I'm reading this off my notes, but just to educate our viewers. Delivered new to the UK from its original owner, 4-litre V8 bi-turbo. I mean, honestly, if you're going to do it, that's all the performance you need, right?
Yeah,
in the real world.
I think you'd give some GT3 RSs a really hard time.
My God.
In that car.
Yeah.
And
100%.
Yeah, incredible performance. Flat plane V8 crank, that noise that they make with that flat plane crank engine is just unbelievable. Twin turbocharged. That's a monster, and it's rare. It's definitely going to be collectible going forward because they only built 55, and obviously Mercedes.
And they just look cool, don't they?
They look
really
great
do.
of
They
that
just
era. I
look cool.
really like the styling, and they were, if you look at the Nürburgring 24 and you look at the FIA sort of series, these Mercedes have been really, really successful in recent years, and they've won multiple races and championships. So, yeah,
I always think the AMG GT is the best looking F1 pace car that there's ever been. I think when Bernd Mailander climbs in, when he was like running ahead of the pack during a safety car period, it's like, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm always reminding myself of my deep respect for him when it's a wet race and the safety car's out and he is actually flat out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know.
He's an incredible.
It is. And he actually has done, I think, a lot of R&D work with Mercedes on a lot of these sort of, Black Series cars.
What a job that is, though.
Yeah.
F1
The dream.
safety driver.
Yeah.
Like, how long has he been doing it? Like 25 years? I mean, since I was a kid, I remember this guy driving around.
And he's what? I'm going to jinx him. I almost daren't say it, but he's never put a foot wrong. You know, that whole thing, he's got to go fast enough so the cars behind aren't losing all of their heat or and have no downforce because they're he's going to nail that car. As Felix says, he is flat while Lando Norris is like cruising with one hand on.
Yeah, saying please can he speed up?
Yeah.
And right up on his tail.
Yeah, that's a great job.
Well, if you want to live your Burt Lando moment,
dream.
that's the car to be. So, thank you, gents. We better wind this up because we've been nattering quite a bit. Jonny, our producer, gets cross if I don't look to the camera and say certain things that need to be said. So, the auction starts at 4 p.m. this afternoon. You can register to bid. If you choose to, you can bid online, you can bid on the phone, you can get yourself to the Peninsula and come and bid in person. If you're not in the market to buy anything, you can just go to rmsotheby's.com. You'll find a link on the homepage just prior to 4 o'clock, which will allow you to watch the auction live. So thank you for joining us. Don't forget the RM Sotheby's podcast, The Car Show. You get that in all the places that you get your podcasts ordinarily. You can watch it on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. That would be great. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching this. What's the time? So we're just in about 2 hours. If you want to come back to your laptop, or your iPad, you can watch the auction live. So look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much. Goodbye.